All right, today we're going to learn how to take a test or assignment and we're going to put it into forms. See here, I've got my Google Doc. I kind of laid out some of this just so you can see what we're going to do. We're going to go through the different types of questions you can create in forms. And one of the best things about that is it will grade assignments for you. So it saves a lot of time. It's a little heavy on the front end, as you're going to see as we go through and put stuff, put our questions in, but it keeps you from having to grade, 25, 50, however many kids you have taking multiple choice and simple answer tests. So I've got my document up here. So this is for the induction class example. And I used to teach entrepreneurship, so they're all kind of business related. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here. So we're on the Google homepage. Go to the waffle, and then we're going to go down to forms. All right, so you see here we've actually got a few different options. I'm going to start with the blank, but if you know you're going to make a quiz that you want to be graded, you can start here. You got evaluations, there's an assessment, there's a quick exit ticket, and then kind of a worksheet template. So these are just some things that you can use too once you've explored a little further. So we're going to go to blank. So I'm going to title this induction example quiz. Okay, so what we want to do here is, so we got a few options up here. You can customize the theme. So you can choose an image if you wanted to. You can change the color, that kind of stuff there if you want to make it a little different. But the main thing, so we'll look at settings before we get started. So you want to collect email addresses. You can send them a copy if you want. That's kind of up to you. It depends on what you're doing. And then if you also want to, you can restrict this so they have to be on their Georgetown account to do it. And then you can limit the response to one. That would depend on whether or not you plan on giving them another test or letting them take it more than once, rather. So for this instance, we'll click it. And then you have here, respondents can edit after they submit. Usually with the test, you might not want to do that. However, if it's, if you want, you could uncheck that and have them go back and fix questions if it was classwork or something like that, or if you want them to go back and do corrections. So then they can also, you can make it where they see summary charts, text responses, that sort of thing. So, and then presentation, you can have a progress bar for them that they'll see. You can actually have it shuffle the order of the questions, which is nice if you have, we don't have now, but if in the future, if you're making these and you had kids that were sitting next to each other, or even like trying to talk, maybe you can have it shuffle order. And so that's another good thing. And you can also put a message at the end, and it'll give them that when they're done. And then, so the main thing though is we want to go here to quizzes, and we're going to click make this a quiz. Chromebooks actually have a feature to where you can lock it. So when they go in there, they can't exit and go look up questions or anything until they're done. You also have a choice. You can release the grade after each submission or later after manual review. So that depends on if you do, if you have all multiple choice, you could go ahead and release it. But if you have some questions that you maybe want to go read, like if you had a short answer, a paragraph, you might want to go read that and then give out the grade later. Respondents, so you can have it to where they can see missed questions, correct answers, point values. Generally, for what we're doing right now, I wouldn't have the correct answers because if they're not taking it asynchronously with everybody else, or if they're taking it asynchronously, they could share questions with other students. So generally, I would not recommend having that clicked for our current environment, especially if we're on, even if you're not doing virtual, if you're on hybrid and you've got A days and B days, like your A day kids might take the test 3 days before your B day kids. So I'd be careful about giving out the answers to things. So we're going to click save. All right, so we've got that, and you can give a description. example. So depending on what you're doing, see it's collecting email addresses automatically from Georgetown County School District users. All right, so let's go. So here we go. We can start with our first question. Even though it's going to give it to you, I like to go ahead and you can do really simple. Put the name there, and for this one, it'll default to it for a lot of stuff when you do it. So short answer, name. They'll put their name in there. We'll get the answer key in a minute, but you want to click required for this one, so it'll make them do that. And then now we're ready to go to the next one. We're going to click add. And so next we're going to do the date. So that's actually a feature on here. So we can go down to date and please. So if you're virtual, or maybe if you have this as an assignment they're going to do outside of class, remember they have 5 days to do things. So this will give them an idea, and they'll actually click the little calendar here, and they can they could lie, but you'll still have a receipt of when they took it. But that's good to have, put them in there. You'll have them put that in there. And then if you want to give them points for those things, it's kind of up to you. These are just kind of some things to help you differentiate as these things come in. You can do time as well. So again, that's a feature on here. And this could be used if you're doing foreign language or some of the other classes, or if you're maybe lower level and you're learning things like times and dates. You can actually have them enter that stuff for you there. So I put required for these sorts of things, so they make sure they do it. And again, all this is kind of up to you, but these are some things to think about. And you see when it's required, I have this little star beside the question. All right, so there's a couple of different features we're going to look at. I'm in high school, so my brain kind of operates that way. So you could ask, what block are you in, which will help kind of differentiate the time of day. So there's a drop down option. And so that gives you like the little drop down, which I'll show you in just a second. And as we're going back and forth, you can copy and paste stuff like this, and it'll put it in there for you. So you don't have to type it out individually. So it helps if you have your document set up like how I do. And then you can do required. And so real quick, we're going to go, as we go through, you can click preview. And it's going to show you what the student sees. So it has my email address there. If that's not me, say I'm in my Gmail account, personal, I could switch and go to that. So name, the date, and this is what I was talking about. They'll click the little calendar there. They can pick their date, enter time of day, and then this is the drop-down menu is what it's going to look like. So they can choose that as well. All right. So we're going to go next to, and then here, one more thing we could do. So we can do, I put multiple choice, but I would actually probably do drop-down for that one as well. And I'm just going back and forth to show you that you can copy and paste. There we go. And I'd make all these things required just to have the information. And I'll show you at the end why, because we'll get, this actually gets you can turn all this into an Excel spreadsheet, which gives you some good information about your class. So right here, I've got my first question. If by prior service, you are a blank. So we're going to paste that, copy and paste it here. So we've got that ready for the students. It does have a feature where you can add a picture if that was something that would help your students, or if you're doing different classes. I've seen Spanish or foreign language teachers use it. Put a picture of a chair and say, write that in Spanish. Or if you're looking at maps, things like that, you could actually put an image there and do it that way. Again, so I've got my answers typed out here. So we're going to copy. We're going to paste them. So they're already in there. So we're good to go. And I would not require the students to answer the questions because if they don't know it, they can't go forward. It'd force them to guess. So I'd rather personally, for them to have to to be able to skip a question if they want. And it also keeps them from being able like to answer a question or skip it and then come back and answer it later. So now to have this be automatically graded, we're going to click the answer key. And since we're buying, we're a consumer. See, it's highlighted green. It's got a checkpoint there. And you also have to do the point total. So just for easiest sake, we're going to do 1 point. Click done. And now we can see that here. And there's also a green check right here showing us which the right answer is. Again, we can go to preview and check it. So now you can see, and then they would click that. This is what they're going to see there. So we're going to leave that. All right. So the next type of question that I have lined up for us, you can also have made it where they can have check boxes where they can select multiple answers. So paste. So we've got that there, and see it knows if you type some of the stuff in there, it'll automatically select the appropriate thing for you. So then we're going to go back. We're going to get our answers right there and paste. And so we got that. So again, we have to go to the answer key and let's see, answer the ones that are relevant to the question. So it says select 4. So make sure we pick all the correct ones. And then we'll do another point for that. And we're done. So see, it shows you what the appropriate answer should be. Again, what your point total is. And what they'll do is they'll go and check these boxes, and we'll just we'll go look at the test when we're done here. I'll show you how they fill it out. So next, you can also do true and false, which is just going to act like a multiple choice question. So paste, and these are fast. We can probably just type that. So look and see, it does a lot of predictive things. So I typed in true. So when I clicked on add another, it went ahead and chose false for me. And so we got to go back to the answer key. She's making stuff, so she's a producer at our point. Done. There. So, and then, so next, I gave this example. You can actually have them upload files. I taught computer science, so I use that option a lot for there because they had to turn in actual files to me. You have to give them the option. So now they'll allow only specific types. You can do a maximum size. It can go up to a gigabyte. Depending on what you're doing, videos are going to be bigger. So if it was like a video, you'd want to do a gigabyte. If not, 10 is probably going to cover most things. If it's multiple pictures or maybe a program, you might want to do that. And then just set your point total there. So now they can actually upload, and I had a regional map used to make them so they would fill it out and they could upload it to there. So that's an option for videos, pictures. I mean, you can even have them go find something on the internet and share it. So that's kind of a non-traditional way. Now you'd have to go back and probably grade this yourself as opposed to having it graded for you, but it will count it that they've turned it in. And let's see. So there's also a short answer option. So you paste that there, and you want to go to short answer, and we're going to go to answer key. And now just keep in mind, now if I type, this thing's going to read it exactly. So if we type in McDonald's without an S or without an apostrophe, they have to type it exactly like this or it'll be counted wrong. Or if you put it like this, it's going to be, so just keep in mind with short answer, if they don't type it exactly right, it's going to not show correctly. So you actually have this option here. So you could even, if you want to make sure that they got it counted, so you can add a couple of different spellings. Or if you click this, so you click that, all other answers will be marked incorrect. And you can actually add feedback as well if they don't get it right. So we're going to click that for done. Done there. And then lastly, you can ask longer questions in here if you would like. And see, this thing's smart. So if you kind of go ahead and do it, it'll go ahead and select things for you. So, here you could leave feedback that kind of explains it, made this more points because it's a thing, but know that this will not necessarily be graded correctly, or it can't grade this because it's too open-ended. So sometimes I suggest making maybe all your multiple choice and those kinds of questions in this, and then having a separate Google document to where you ask if you want to ask a essay question or a long or short answer question. All right, so we've looked through all the different ones. So now we're going to go look and see what the student sees. So here we go. Put my name there. Today's date is 12/27. We are in third block now. B-Day, consumer. So let's see, I'm going to do just these top four, show you what happens. True. We're going to skip that one and see. Now we're going to, and then, I'm going to click submit. And it's going to show you my score. So I got that right. It shows me that I got these wrong, but it doesn't tell me that these are the correct options. True, says I didn't upload an image, and this is tough. So that's one of those things you'd have to go back and probably adjust the grade, which is why I suggest putting it in a document instead. So I got 3 out of 10 total points. But what's great here is like now you see that I have a response. It actually will give you all these graphs and things for excellent for benchmarking and finding out where people stand. And you can see who answers what when, what block you have more people doing stuff like, A day, B day. Then you go to individual questions and see, oh, well, maybe I didn't teach that exactly right. So it gets some good data. And then actually, if you click this, so create. It will actually put it all in a spreadsheet for you too, that you can look at as well. So that's just a quick rundown of all the different options that we have for Google Forms. I hope that's helpful, and I hope it'll save you some time. Thanks for watching.